Is No Man's Sky the greatest space game of all time? Find out in today's video. We're going to talk about my favorite of the space game genre. I'll admit I love No Man's Sky. I've been really enjoying the game, especially lately. I've been playing it a lot, and I really think that it probably is the best that the space game genre has to offer, at least at the moment, until Starfield releases, and then it's anybody's guess as to what's going to be the best. I mean, you're going to have a Bethesda RPG that's a space game. It's going to be kind of hard to top that one if you know what I mean. But we're going to see what it does. No Man's Sky, though, is a fantastic game. And I've got a huge list of topics to talk about in today's video. It's going to be a long one, so strap in and enjoy yourself, because here we go. This is Hambone, by the way. If you're new to the channel, go ahead and subscribe, like the video. You got all kinds of No Man's Sky coming up, and as well as some more space game content coming up in the near future. Without any further ado, let's jump straight on in the video. The first thing I want to talk about with No Man's Sky is it has huge galaxies that you can go anywhere you want to in. If I want to jump in, start a new playthrough, I can just take off and explore whatever galaxy I want to, ride around, find a black hole, get bounced around here, there, and everywhere, and just go wherever I please. I can go whatever and do whatever, and there are huge galaxies. In Elite Dangerous, okay, for the comparison, it's just the Milky Way galaxy. I think No Man's Sky has like 4 or 5 galaxies that you can go through. A bunch of different galaxies. Elite Dangerous is just one, and the galaxy in Elite Dangerous is massive. I mean, massive. It takes forever to get, somewhere thousands of light years away, whatever. It also takes forever to get to space, where you are discovering the different planets and whatever. You're the first person to visit. In No Man's Sky, you start out in a place where you're the first person to visit, and then you can just make first contact with all kinds of different systems. And so you see that you discover this message quite often, which is a really cool feature. A really cool thing about the game is you're always discovering new stuff. You're always the one that discovers star systems, and I think that's really cool. And I kind of touched on this last point, but you can do whatever you want whenever you want. If I roll out to get my ship repaired, I take off and go on my merry way doing whatever it is I want to do in No Man's Sky. I don't have to answer to anybody. I don't have to complete the main story. If I don't want to, I can do whatever I want. And that's a very good thing. I can just kind of go make money, whatever I want to do. And it just allows you to explore space at your own pace, do whatever you want to do, go wherever you want to go. And like I said in the last point, it is a huge galaxy. There's multiple galaxies, huge areas, lots and lots of planet variety and different things you can do. So next thing I want to talk about is it has decent survival gameplay. It's not the greatest in the genre. You're not looking at like Valheim levels of ridiculously good survival gameplay with boss fights and mechanics and all that stuff. You don't have all that here. It's just got a good solid core survival gameplay where, the most dangerous things you're going to get into really are the sentinels that guard the planets, dealing with some pirates and dealing with running out of the precious materials needed to keep you alive if you are using, if you're on a planet that's hazardous, if you have a hazardous planet, running out of the materials to keep you alive. But once you get started, once you get established, it's really not hard to make sure that you don't have any issues. Once you're a little bit further into the game, once you get established, it's really easy to deal with. There are some monsters that will attack you and surprise you if you're not expecting it and could kill you, but it's really rare. It's not like a lot of survival games where there's some difficulty. There's not a lot of difficulty to the survival system. It's decent enough that it can be, a decent survival gameplay, but it's nothing crazy like you have to eat and drink water and all like Subnautica or something like Valheim. You don't have to, it's not to the depth of those systems. It's just got like it's a surface level almost survival system that does very good. Now, we're going to talk about the flying, because it has solid flying and it's got decent combat. It's not the best combat I've ever had in a simulator game, but it's not a flight simulator. This is more of an arcade-style game. So the flying is very good. It lends itself well to controller. It's all right on mouse and keyboard. It does really fantastically on controller. Joystick is also really good, but mouse and keyboard is where you're kind of lacking on the controls for your flying. It is still solid though, still plenty fine to play the game. Overall, the flying and the combat are decent enough, the space combat, that you can really enjoy it. You can customize your fighter. There's endless customization for your ships, endless customization for, your fighting style on the ground, your fighting style on the ships, different things you want to do. There's all kinds of customization. I mean, it is unreal at the stuff you can do. You can kit your ship out any way you want to with any modules you want to, up to, the limit of each type of module, and just do whatever you want to do. based on what your ship is capable of, your inventory, what kind of ship it is. And so it's just got a really nice, deep system of ship customization, different things like that. And overall, it's very fantastic. It has great base building. I mean, yes, that's kind of in the survival category, but in this case, I believe it owes a spot all to its own. You can just pull up the No Man's Sky subreddit if you don't believe me and look at some of the crazy creations that people make and tell me that this game doesn't have good base building. The base building in No Man's Sky is truly fantastic. There's lots and lots and lots and lots and lots, hundreds and hundreds of modules and different things that you can go through and find, make a base with. Just crazy the amount of stuff you can build a base with in this game. The base building is just on the, it's really insane. Really good base building, really enjoyable. If you want to spend a bunch of time making bases, this game is one for you because you can find the perfect planet and then drop your perfect base on the perfect planet, or find 100 perfect planets. Whatever you want to do, the sky is the limit with this game as far as base building and all that is concerned. Everything in-game is procedurally generated, which leads to a large variety. All the planets are procedurally generated. The ships are procedurally generated. They have certain, traits that they can acquire, but, it leads to the massive variety that you see. All the animals are procedurally generated, which means some of them do look a little weird at times, and then some of them, like this giant koala bear, bunny rabbit thing I'm going to throw up on the screen, just look cool. Just random things like that. It's very random. But everything is procedurally generated, so you're never going to run into much of the same stuff. There's a lot of variety of the game, which is a good thing, considering that you're going to be exploring and flying around, all these different places. And frankly, this game has a lot of what I dreamed of, the space game I wanted as a kid, all wrapped up into one package. I always wanted to be able to go visit a foreign planet and build my own base and fly around and go back to land and fly up and go to space stations. You can do all of that in No Man's Sky. You're not limited to just riding around in the ship like you are in Elite Dangerous. Yes, I know that they added where you can walk around space stations and mild walking around and stuff, but No Man's Sky is totally different from that. You go in your ship, you fly around, you get out, you walk around. Whatever you want to do, you can wander around, do whatever you want to do. There's a lot more to it, than how it is in Elite Dangerous. It's just a whole lot better. And let me just go ahead and tell you that not only is it better, but all of that stuff, all of the features that they've added over the last, let's see, it released in 2016, so how many years has that been? Oh gosh, I'm doing math on the spot. 6 years. So over the last 6 years, all the features that the developers have added, and it's been quite a few, are completely free. You don't have to buy DLC with this game. It's not like buying, the base game and then buying this pack and that pack and this pack and that pack. Everything comes with the base game, and can I say it's on Game Pass, by the way, for both PC and console. Highly recommend you just check it out on Game Pass if you have it. But everything comes with the base price. You don't have to worry about buying DLC, and the game developers are providing persistent free updates year after year that continue to improve it and just continue to upgrade the game. They're working on big updates now. For the future, it just had one released about a month and a half ago called Outlaws Update, which brought in space piracy and smuggling, different little things like that. And really, they just add on to the game. It is just a fantastic game, really good game to get into because it's always being in constant development, and the developers are not greedy. They're not trying to take all your money. They're just going on and they're fixing their problems that they had whenever the game originally released. The mistakes that they made, they're working it out and fixing those mistakes, and it's making for a fantastic game now. Now that we're years into the future, the game has become an incredible space game, an incredible survival game, and one very worth playing. It doesn't do everything the best, but it does most everything good or great, so that makes the game feel great. I'm not saying it's the best survival game. It's not. I'm not saying it's the best space game. Well, it kind of is the best space game because of all of what it combines, at least for now, until you get into, like I said, maybe Starfield or whatever might topple it for the best space game. It's not the best space flying sim. I think Elite Dangerous offers some of the best simulator-esque space combat. I really, truly do. But it's not the best space sim. Okay? It's not, the best, let's see, what else can we name? Not the best survival game, like I said. It's not even the best base building game. You know, it's not the best at everything, but it does everything well or good or even great, and that makes it feel great, and that makes it where the game feels good to play and is very enjoyable to play because it does everything well. It doesn't do everything perfect, but it does it all well enough. I'm going to just go ahead and list off a short list of some of the features that you can get into in the game, and I know that there's a lot more than just what's on this list. It's just going to be off the top of my head, so bear with me. You can get into some space piracy or smuggling. You can do some base building. You can do exploration. It has seamless travel from space to planet to space. So what I mean by that is you can travel to space in your ship, fly right back down to the planet, hop out. There's no loading screen. There's no nothing. You hop in your ship, fly back into space, go into the space station. There's no loading screen or no nothing. You just hop out. It's all seamless, which is a fantastic experience and something that you don't realize how nice it is until you've experienced it. It is really nice to have everything so seamless and not have to worry about loading screens and different things like that. The seamless traveling is just a fantastic feature. It has settlement management. So you can go and find a settlement on a planet. If you fly around long enough, it'll be like, hey, you get like a distress signal from a settlement on a planet. They'll say, hey, come check us out and help us out. And then you can manage the settlement, do the different things that come with that. It's got constantly changing expeditions. We're currently on expedition number 7, which is the Leviathan expedition. And it is more like a roguelike expedition. So you start out, it's like you're in a time loop, okay? Every time you die in the expedition, you start over just like a roguelike. And you're just chipping away at it, chipping away at it. And if you die, of course, you lose your progress, so you have to start over, but you have that sort of knowledge of what's going on, and it's more like a roguelike, sort of, so to speak. A very interesting thing. Those constantly change every couple months, and you always have a new expedition. You can also own a freighter, and then by extension of owning a freighter, manage a fleet of ships that you use to go and send on missions, do various little things like that, do tasks, get you some money, various little cool things like that. You can take your freighter around, you can build a base on your freighter. It's just like a gigantic ship. I mean, really just think like a capital ship, you know, something like crazy. You can own one of those and manage it, do whatever you want to do with it, build a base on it, build a farm on it, just really, really cool stuff. Very nice that it has that, and you can manage a fleet of ships by extension of that, you know, that are called frigates, and you can send them on missions. And you can also have a pilot squadron that you can bring around with you and have several ships that fly around and help you in space combat. Speaking of space combat, that's another big thing you can do. Plenty of space combat to be had in the game. Lots of fun. There's all kinds of missions you can go on. Missions, storylines, whatever you want to do, there's a lot of it in No Man's Sky. And, you know, I'm sure there's much more than what I just mentioned here. This is just a little bit off the top of my head. Now, the developers really care about their game and the people that are enjoying it and the people that are playing it. They really do, because they put out all these updates for free. They realized that they screwed up when they released the game, and they put all these updates out for free, fixing the game, and they really care that you have a good experience in their game and with their game, and so they really try to make the game fun, and it shows because the game is fun to play. And it's very addicting to get into. You can get into it and say, oh, I'll spend a few minutes here, and next thing you know, 3 hours later, you're still mining or doing whatever you're doing, and it just eats away at your time, and you don't even realize it because the game is enjoyable, and there's always a goal. There's always a progression. There's always something to be doing in No Man's Sky, always something to keep up with and to be doing, and it's just a fantastic experience because of it. And overall, I think it's a fantastic space and survival experience. If you haven't given it a try, it is well worth playing. Very, very good game. And in my opinion, it is the best currently available space game at the moment. We'll see how things work out, how things shake out with Starfield and other games coming up. But in my personal opinion, it is the best space game out at the moment. Yes, I've put a bunch of hours into Elite Dangerous, other games, but in my opinion, this is just the best overall generalized space game at the moment that you can get on any console and play on any device, you know, because now they're coming out with, it's going to be coming to the Switch later on in the year, I think, and then it's also going to be coming to streaming on your mobile phone, I believe. So you're going to be able to play literally on any device, and No Man's Sky is a fantastic game. It's well worth getting into, and I highly recommend you check it out. Thank you for watching today's video. If you made it this long in a video, I really appreciate you. Go ahead and drop a like on the video and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video coming up next week. Thank you. Bye-bye.